Hi everyone, welcome to HubSpot's episode 256. In this episode, we talk about HubSpot CMS Hub Starter and everything you need to know if you're going to buy this product. And we're going to dive into what's included, what's missing, and who it's ideal for. You're listening to Asia Pacific's #1 HubSpot-focused podcast where we discuss HubSpot tips, tricks, and strategies for growing your sales, service, marketing, and operations results. My name is Ian Jacob from Search and Be Found, and with me is Craig Bailey from Zen Systems. How are you, Craig?
I'm really well and very excited about this new release.
I know, we were very excited, and we predicted this a long time ago, didn't we, Craig?
You know what's funny? In hindsight, it's obvious. I don't think there was any special Nostradamus powers there. But what's funny, I was looking back to when we did mention it, and one was when they released Pro, or CMS became Pro and Enterprise. That was about a year or so ago. And we said, where's Starter? Because there was an obvious missing spot on the pricing page. And then it was just April earlier this year. We were saying, where's Starter? What's going on? Well, of course, I only heard about this in June from HubSpot. And
Yes.
I don't know, did you hear about it any earlier than that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so listeners, we've only known about this for about a month or so. Before it's announced, so we were late to the party. But when we're chatting about it in April, of course, it was almost would have been fully baked.
Correct.
So listening just going, come on, surely these turkeys know that it's coming. We didn't, honestly. But I'm glad it did, and in hindsight, of course, it was coming.
That's right. And so what we want to tell our listeners is we're going to go through a breakdown of CMS Starter because Craig and myself have been playing around with it in the last week and a bit. We're going to talk about who it's ideal for. We're going to also think about when is the time you need to upgrade from CMS Starter to Professional or Enterprise. What's included in the CRM Starter Suite, because this is included in the CRM Starter Suite. And we'll be doing a whole episode on the CRM Starter Suite in coming weeks. And where is HubSpot going with this CMS Starter? And it's very exciting. So let's get the show started.
All right, let's chat about what's included and what's not. And first up, I just want to say right from the outset, I think this is a really good move. It includes a generous amount of functionality for the price, and the price varies between, 25 and $35 a month, depending on which geography you're in and prices,
Correct.
etc. Anyway, it's down at that tier. It's very firmly positioned in the Squarespace, Wix, Shopify tier, that very affordable monthly price. So that's excellent. I think this is a very compelling option for some people and some companies even. There is some weird limits that it has that we're going to talk about on the show that are just bizarre. But overall, this is an excellent offering and will make a lot of people happy. And particularly HubSpot shareholders, because this is going to go like wildfire. I think this is going to be a massive success for the company.
And really, I guess when we look at how long CMS has been around, Craig, and we've been using it for, a long time. We're talking like many, many years. And if you think about all the infrastructure this is built on, the people from Starter are benefiting of all the years of experience of building this product, and it's kind of all filtered down, isn't it? It's like what Mercedes used to do. They'd have all the great features on their S-Class Mercedes, and all filters down to like the C and the A class.
You know what? It's funny. I was thinking about this earlier today. I wasn't actually going to mention this on the show, but what you just said then prompted me. Do you remember Elon Musk famously wrote the plan for Tesla all those years ago? And he said, look, we're going to start at the top, the luxury, the very expensive premium, and then we're going to, over time, push those features down and down and down. It's kind of like, I don't know, I'm probably bending it a bit too far, but it's almost like this is the Model 3, the Starter Suite. I don't know.
You're quite right.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's quite right, but it's certainly Enterprise is the Model. What are the Tesla models? You're the car guy. I don't know this. Is it Model S is the top tier or something?
Yeah, S and X, and
S&X,
then
yeah,
and then we go to
down, and
Model
the Model
3.
3 is their starter. So yeah, because to your point, Ian, this CMS Hub Starter is a very mature product. This is not something that's just been whipped up in the last year. The CMS infrastructure, functionality, drag and drop builder, everything security, CDN hosting. It's been around for years, so it's very mature, it's very robust. And yeah, you get all of that underpinning a beautiful experience. And so, shall we jump into what's included for listeners who haven't had a chance to look at it yet? So I'll quickly mention a few things. You can jump in, Ian, with your comments about them as we go along. But the drag and drop experience, so building pages, I think that's the key thing. Using this tool is very easy. If you've used the drag and drop builder in some of the higher tiers, this is what you get in Starter. You get the file manager, which is really nice. You get forms without branding. There's actually a special set of themes available in the theme marketplace just for Starter. They're quite nice. We've been playing with a few of them. And so some of them are free. So yep, just get these free ones straight into your portal. Start using them. It also includes a blog, which is really nice. And as you mentioned, you get SSL, you get the CDN, you get a custom domain. And HubSpot, I think, are rightly promoting those features, the robustness, the security, and that because we're in a WordPress world where every second week you kind of hear a story about WordPress getting hacked, normally due to bad hosting or it hasn't been updated, admittedly, not WordPress as being an architecturally flawed product, but you won't get that with HubSpot because of the way it's built. And so, yeah, before I go on, what do you think? They're compelling features. What have we missed so far?
Very compelling, Craig. And I always talk to people and tell them it's like building a house in a good neighborhood, right? You've got good infrastructure, you've got good security, you've got reliable access to services, and that's really what this is. This product has when compared to other products in the marketplace, and that's what you're paying for, right?
Yeah,
I think what I'm also going to say is that it's got history, like you've said before. It's got support, and you've always got someone constantly looking at keeping it up to date, and that's the big thing. Plug in the holes, and you've got a whole team of security experts behind the scene making sure that things are reliable and secure and safe.
Yeah, that's right. And look, it's not only the building page experience, it's all those other parts around it, the infrastructure, but there's also things such as ads and conversations and chatbots and all of those tools that are in HubSpot. Well, Marketing Starter, I think a bunch of those pieces are in there. You can even send emails from this.
Correct.
This is all built in to CMS Hub Starter. So you're getting a lot of functionality for your money there. So it's compelling.
That's right. And one of the nice things that we didn't expect, Craig, was you could expire pages on certain dates, which is fantastic.
This is right. This is a great feature of HubSpot Pro and Enterprise. And I was like, that's one of the things I was like, I wonder if they'll include that in Starter. Yes, it's there.
That's right.
Scheduling pages, you can do that. You get that as well.
Optimizing the page for SEO, that was another great thing, and that's a tab on the page editor that you see. And the other thing you can do is you can create multiple language variations, but please note that each variation is another page, and we'll talk about this as we come along to a limitation.
That's right. And you know, the other thing because I love jumping into the settings just to see what you get. XML sitemap, yep, it's there. Robots TXT editing, yeah, it's there. Remember a couple of episodes ago we were talking about Shopify announced that as
That's right.
A massive thing. Yeah, of course it's in there. You can add GA and GTM, that's Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager. Editing the site header and footer HTML, can't you, Ian?
Correct. We've got system pages, navigation menus, language settings, and redirects in there.
Oh, by the way, worth mentioning with that navigation menu, that's a full advanced menu editor.
It is.
In there. So
correct.
Yeah, all of these things that have been in Pro and above, yeah, you get this in Starter as well.
Now, let's talk about what's missing, Craig. And as we were testing, we can't seem to create landing pages based on theme templates. And we're actually investigating this further with people that are building themes and even with HubSpot to see why this is the case. Because if you have a theme and I want to create a landing page, why can't I do that?
Yeah, we'll come back to that when we talk about limitations in a second, because it is quite confusing. Something else that's missing, no RSS email option, as far as I can tell. I might be wrong on that, but because it's got a blog, I thought you might be able to create RSS emails. I don't think so.
The next one would be call to actions, and some of the free themes actually have CTA options in their modules, but these are just styled buttons, and they're not using the HubSpot call to action module or features within that.
Yeah, that's right. A/B testing and smart content, you don't get that in Starter, and I'm totally fine with that.
And you can't see the root domain, as far as we can tell.
Yeah, you can't set the root domain. I think this one's weird. So you can have the www, but you can't set the apex. That seems to be a pro and enterprise feature, which I find a bit strange. This
That's
should
right.
just be table stakes. But yeah, anyway.
And let's see, we might find the answer to that later down the track. The next thing that we've been talking about in previous shows is the site tree is not available. And that's a differentiator between Starter and Professional there. We've also got the SEO tool, which has been getting better and better by the week, I have to say. And you've also got campaigns, which is not there. And most dashboards and reports are not there either.
It does include some dashboards and reports, but yeah, not the full suite that you'd get in Pro and above.
Okay, so now that we've talked about what's missing, let's talk about what's limited, Craig.
All right, so I'm going to have a whinge now, but I just want to say, consider this whinge in comparison to how positive I am about all the other stuff. Like everything we've chatted about, I'm like, wow, like this is pretty incredible. But here's this limitation, 15 web pages. I just don't get this, Ian. I just don't understand. So obviously it's a very considered decision, and maybe it's to differentiate it from Pro, and we'll talk about when you would upgrade later.
Correct.
But I just don't understand why they've done this, because if you consider, and maybe I'm totally wrong, but if you consider this is pitching against the Wix and the Squarespaces and all these other tools,
yes,
playing around at this Starter level, even Wix has a 100-page limit, and Squarespace has 400, I think, and of course WordPress, no limits, and 15 page. I just don't understand it. Am I being unreasonable? This is a showstopper for me.
It does sound strange, because you kind of think, well, how many pages? And I guess maybe there's enough data to constitute that most people don't have more than 15 pages that they've got created on a website, right? So it might be backed by some data that they have, but I guess we won't know the answer to that question.
Well, no, I would assume it has. I can almost guarantee you this has been very carefully considered based on data. I'm sure it is. But that's not my point. My point is the perception, right? So let's say who could use this would never go over 15 pages. Just saying that you're limited to 15 pages, to me, perception-wise, even if it turns out I wasn't going to go over 15, is a showstopper. I'd be like, oh. And so, we're considering this for a bunch of our smaller clients, and I'm like, no, I'm going to stick with WordPress because it's too risky. But anyway, I said I was going to have a whinge, and that is
money, so and that is potentially you're quite right, and that is a potential risk, and I guess that's what you need to weigh up. And I think it's very important that you plan and structure your site correctly to manage that.
You know what though, I would be happy, or not, maybe not happy. I would be okay if they treated it like the ads add-on, which gives you, I think you buy certain amounts of budget, or how much you can manage.
Yes.
If they said, yeah, okay, it comes with 15 pages, but if every additional 10 pages is an X number of dollars extra per month or something like that, kind of a tiered pricing, I'd be okay with that. I think probably makes it overly complex, but yeah, it's just bizarre. And then they say, but unlimited landing pages. But to go back to your point earlier, you can't use the themes on landing pages. So I'm like, have we got this wrong? Like, have we missed something? I hope we have, Ian. I hope we have.
That's right. And listeners, we will get to the bottom of it and report back at a later date. And the other thing that's limited, Craig, is you can't create or edit drag and drop templates in the Design Manager. You can edit theme files in HTML, but you can't edit it in drag or drop, and that's another big difference between Starter and Professional.
Yeah, so that's a limitation, and I'm totally fine with that.
Correct.
So functionality limitations, great. You upgrade. You want that extra advanced functionality, that's when you upgrade to Pro, which we'll come to. So that kind of limitation I'm fine with. But yeah, the 15 pages, I don't know. It's bugging
And
me.
there we have it. And now they have also launched a HubSpot marketplace that's tailored just for CMS starter portals. And a lot of the providers in there have actually been some of the really good ones that we've used before. One of them being Kevin from Helpful Hero, and also the guys at the Macker agency. So I can see a couple in there, and that's fantastic to see that people have jumped on board and given people options with CMS Starter when they're starting out.
I think this is really good. And the other thing the thing that impressed me about this was they haven't launched CMS Starter kind of half baked. You know, oh, look, we'll get it launched, MVP kind of thing, and then we'll upgrade. No, the HubSpot Asset Marketplace is there, and it's very slick and, it's polished, I think is what I'm saying. And there's some starter themes there. Some are free, some are paid for. Like, this is a really good experience. You just get it. Oh, yeah, I'll install a few themes. Great, start working with it. This is really good. Guides you through, so I think this is really nice. And then the other thing is, within your settings section, there's a new marketplace downloads section. That's good. I don't know if that's a result of Starter or whether they're always going to do this and it's rolled out, just happens to be rolling out the same timeline. But that's really nice as well. And so it just brings it all together. I just think this is quite a cohesive release. There's no... Well, I haven't found any problems. I haven't found any links that go to 404s or something's not working or you go in loops, which quite often happens when there's new releases, maybe not from HubSpot, from other vendors. You kind of go, this is new. Okay, I'll come back in a week when they've fixed the issues. No, HubSpot's done a really nice job of polishing this before it rolls out.
All right, and then onto the file manager experience, Craig.
This is another thing. I was impressed to see that the stock image option, which most people know, you go into files and you go to stock images tab, and HubSpot have licensed the Shutterstock a set of images. So yeah, you can get those. And I've put a few screenshots in there of cliched handshakes and goldfish jumping out of files just for fun. But yeah, it's all there. So that's really nice.
And a great place to start. All right, in talking about that, who is CMS Starter for? Right, so let's start with the first one. CMS Starter is ideal for people that want to build microsites or very simple company websites.
Well, that's right. Very simple, meaning no more than 15 pages for starters. But yeah, for microsites, spin these up really quickly.
Now, I will say something about that, Craig, in terms of microsites, just the ability when you get started, and it walks you through a process about creating a site, kind of selecting a theme to start off with, pre-filling and pre-creating pages. So like creating the contact page, the service page, the about page. It was a really slick experience, I have to say, in terms of walking you through the process. And I was talking to you, was that you can, with very little knowledge, create things and have a great platform to launch something from. They haven't left empty spaces for stuff, and kind of said they've given you every opportunity to make it looking great and working well. And that's what I really liked about the experience of the whole walkthrough of the creation of the site.
Totally agree. The next thing I'd say, this is also ideal. This is a good fit for people who have a personal blog. So you've got a blog and you've got a couple of pages, as you said, about, contact, home. So this is a very simple WordPress equivalent. People spin up a WordPress site mainly for blogging. This CMS Starter is perfect for that.
Yep. And again, we're going to say it's very simple to set up and use, and secure as well, and stable. And that's some of the really key things that we come across when people often start off, is they've got sites that are slow, hosted in bad places, does not work well, has security problems, etc. So this is a big plus.
Yeah, look, I think this is, as we mentioned earlier, this is aimed at the Squarespace, Wix level as one target, and also WordPress. The other thing is it could actually be an alternative to some of the landing page tools, such as Landingy or Unbounce and others. Again, there's that 15-page limit though, so maybe not, depending on how many landing pages you want to spin up. But I will say, based on that, companies I've worked with that have had Unbounce and other landing page tools, they often only have about 10 pages. So this could quite happily fit there.
All right, now let's talk about when you should upgrade to HubSpot CMS Professional. And I think if we talk about this 15-page mark, maybe this might be the upgrade trigger that you need.
Yeah, well, look, that's definitely one trigger. I think that's a, we've talked before about friction-based upgrades or irritation-based upgrades versus functionality increase upgrades. So yeah, that trigger, that's a irritation friction that it unlocks. However, features-wise, and this is what I would much more prefer the upgrade experience to be. It's like, oh, great, we've got our company site running on it. Now we want to add A/B testing. Oh, we actually want to get personalization going.
Correct.
We want to get smart content going. Right, that's when we upgrade to Pro. It's kind of like starting with Marketing Starter and you're getting emails going, and then you go, right, we want to get automation going. That's when you go to Marketing Pro. That's what I'd much prefer the experience to be here with. But they're ones, and you've added a few others.
That's right. Content staging being the other one. And this is a feature that we've found has worked so beautifully across many customers of ours who are making upgrades and trying to show the pages to people within the business to get approval and do it in a safe manner instead of someone coming out, oh, I'm going to publish that page. Oh, it's live. And that shouldn't have been out there. And they've just made that a part of the professional experience, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. The content staging, that's another a very compelling reason to upgrade. And also, the upgrade is not that expensive, although they just increase the prices. You know what? I kind of feel like there were some clients that, we might have waited for Starter, right? Because we weren't going to go for Pro. But now that the price has gone up, it's like, now we're completely gone. The price of Pro's gone up. No, that's ruled it out. Oh, and Starter doesn't do what I thought it was going to do. It's back to WordPress. There we go.
That's right. And then now let's talk about the HubSpot Hub family, right? And where does CMS Hub Starter include in the CRM Starter bundle suite? And what I wanted to say, I think if you're starting somewhere, this is a great place to start because you get Marketing Starter, Service Starter, Sales Starter, Operation Starter, and now CMS Starter in that bundle.
This is a no-brainer, Ian. We're chatting with all of our small business clients on the solar side, kind of going, yeah, just get CRM Suite Starter. Next episode or in coming weeks, listener, we're going to talk about the CRM Suite. You've got to get this. And also, if you're thinking about Marketing Starter, say you're on Marketing Free and you're thinking about Marketing Starter, forget that and get CRM Suite Starter. Because not only does it include Marketing Starter, it includes all those other things Ian said, but, and here's the most compelling reason, the cost per 1,000 contacts is much cheaper on CRM Suite Starter than it is on Marketing Starter. I think it's like by a factor of 4 or 5.
Correct.
So, yeah, just get CRM Suite Starter. We'll chat about it next week, but look, the only difference is you're locked into an annual contract versus a monthly option, but it's a no-brainer, CRM Suite Starter. More on that next week.
All right, so where does this fit into the overall HubSpot strategy, Craig? If we talk about CMS usage globally, what do we see?
All right, well, W3 Techs have this report, which they regularly update about CMS usage stats globally. And we've got a screenshot in the show notes, but I'll just read out some of them for listeners. So number one, of course, is WordPress. I think 42% of websites globally are running on WordPress. By far the leader. Shopify, interestingly, is next with close to 4%. Then you've got your Joomla, Squarespace, Wix and Drupals all in the 1 to 2% range. Then you've got a whole bunch of other bitty ones, which I won't talk about. But then down at number 18, you've got HubSpot at 0.3%. So that's 0.3% of all websites globally are running on HubSpot. Oh, and by the way, in case you're thinking, well, okay, I've added that as up as we went along. There's some other big ones missing. No, because the other 50% of websites are running on no CMS. There's some hand-coded HTML or some custom thing. So
You're right. There's about 35% there that's actually
Oh, is it
running on
35%?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Which
right.
is a very high percentage when you think about it compared to these other platforms.
So you've got HubSpot sitting on 0.3%, and I look at those top 5, and they're gunning for them. WordPress, Shopify, probably not Shopify, but WordPress, Joomla, Squarespace, Wix, and Drupal.
Absolutely.
HubSpot CMS Starter and CMS in general is gunning for that. So at the starter level, they're gunning for Squarespace and Wix, and I guess at the pro and enterprise level, that's where Joomla and Drupal comes in. And WordPress, well, they could be targeting with any of their tiers because WordPress has everything from small hobby sites through to huge enterprise sites running on it.
Exactly.
But it's clear to me that's where the big opportunity is here for CMS Starter. And I would not be surprised to see HubSpot up around the 1% within a year, within 12 months, Ian, which I know is aggressive, just because this offering is so compelling. People will just spin it up and we'll just be like, oh, personal blog with a few pages, bang, CMS Starter. Oh,
Correct.
microsite, CMS Starter, spin it up. And as people have see how easy it is to use and so secure and not all the hassle of hosting, it's great. So that's where I'd see it. And I don't know if the HubSpot team, what their targets are. I'm sure they've got them internally, but it would be aiming for 2% within 3 years, I'm sure. And then it just means it's a WordPress, Shopify, and HubSpot world.
That's exactly right. And all right, now talking about our current marketing stack for small businesses, Craig, let's talk about that. So I think one of the first things would be the HubSpot CRM Starter Suite, which now includes CMS and Operations Starter in it, along with the other hubs. And what are the other two things?
So we use, and we've chatted about this on the show. In fact, way back in episode 138, we had our marketing stack, which we're now updating. It's CRM Suite Starter plus MailerLite for email automation and RSS emails. And we're currently using Agorapulse for social management. I mean, we've used Buffer before. But it's actually really good because we used to have tools like Landingi and other, like we had quite a mix, and now we've just brought it down to 3. HubSpot CRM Suite, MailerLite, and Agorapulse. The great thing about CRM Suite is it includes Operations Starter, which will do that syncing with MailerLite for us. So we previously had to use Zapier. Zapier was part of our tech stack before. No, we can get rid of that now. Buffer we got rid of, and it's getting simpler and better. So not only is it simpler, but we've got more functionality and more reporting and better results.
That's right. It's better for growing businesses. All right, listeners, we hope you've enjoyed the show. I know it's a little bit different, but be on the lookout for our episodes about the CRM Starter Suite and CRM Professional Suite that will be coming up. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to hit us up on LinkedIn or via Instagram, or you should sign up for the show notes at hubshots.com, and you can simply reply to the email and Craig and myself will respond back to you. Well, Craig, until next week.
Catch you later, Ian.